All right, we are dropping recordings in progress. All right, we are ready to go. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Inspiration Podcast. I have my buddy on today by the name of Easton Gladney. He is an NFT and crypto expert, I would like to say. Check out the guy's page. It's Easton Gladney. Easton, just go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
So my name's Easton. I'm 22 years old. I am a real estate agent turned crypto slash NFT investor and content creator. Have been doing the NFT and crypto stuff for about a year now. So we're loving it, and I'm super excited to just chat with you.
Dude, it's only been a year.
Yeah.
I thought it's been longer than that. That's crazy.
No, I got into crypto. I bought my first crypto February 6th of 2021.
Okay, and which one was that?
Elrond.
Elrond. Okay, you're the one who actually got me on the Elrond network, and
That's awesome.
I'm so glad you did, bro, because I've been using Myra Exchange like ever since.
It's so good, bro. It's so good.
Well, did you see where they were doing like they opened up their new farms or something like that? Like
Yep.
I had to go in, and you can probably like highlight this better than I can, but I had to go in and switch out the farm that I had. I was like farming some. I was farming. What was I farming? It was like Elrond and Ride, and then I was farming Elrond and Mex and Ride and Mex and stuff like that. And then I had to switch it over to another farm in the liquidity pool, stuff like that. You're the expert. You go ahead and illuminate on this for me.
Yeah. So basically, you're talking about the DEX or the decentralized exchange,
Yes.
where basically instead of having one party or company holding all of the liquidity for other players or other people to trade their coins with, now you have people like you and me who we can put up our liquidity. We get rewarded, and then the people that want to swap between those coins that we put up, they can do so.
Gotcha. So you're the one who got me on the ride too, and I love that concept so freaking much, dude. So basically, guys, the concept of ride is that you're sitting in the back of an Audi, right? You're whatever, because it was kind of envisioned with this Audi, and you're back of an Audi. You have this VR headset on, and you're literally riding around in the car, and you have this immersive environment where you're seeing all this stuff around you, kind of like Mario Kart or something like that. And the thing about Myar that's super cool is that they have a launch pad, and on the launch pad, they support these companies that you get to learn more about and invest in, which is freaking cool. It's kind of like revolutionary, in my opinion, in the crypto space.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Elrond in general is one of the best layer ones. I'm actually doing a giant podcast tomorrow, like just going into the Elrond blockchain, going over like everything about it. Like, I think the user experience is like unmatched. I think we're early, and I think just the things that are being built on it, if that's applications, if that's dApps, if that's like other companies coming out and building, or just what they're building, they just perfect everything.
Yeah. And it's so easy for people to like who don't know anything about crypto to come on. There is a little bit of jargon that you got to know, especially when you get into the farming and stuff. But it's as easy as just, and guys, we're not plugging MyR, by the way. we're not shouting out MyR. We just both fucking love it. But yeah, I mean, it's so easy for anybody who doesn't know about it to come in and get started. And that's what's really cool about it. I've been in crypto for a long time. It's more been a passive thing for me, but out of all of the exchanges I've used, MyR is really cool, and it just provides a lot of rewards too. Especially like remember when it was during the bootstrapping stage when it was at like what was it like 1,200 APR, 1,200% APR or something like
I
that.
think it was over two. I made like $50,000 in a matter of like a week,
Yeah,
and I think the percentage was over like 200,000%. It was crazy.
it's literally insane. You don't find that in the traditional market, which is
No.
also a scary thing. We got to talk about the downside of that. A question that you would probably be able to field that I have had is like, in the traditional market, I guess it's a little bit harder to introduce new like forms of currency into like physical forms of currency, like new dollars or something like
Yeah.
that. But in the online space, someone can just have a very powerful computer or something like that, and then put out a new crypto or something like that. I could be completely wrong, but I see in the future potentially it being diluted, the value, and then people don't know exactly which one to place their money in, place their bet in, and stuff like that. Maybe you can answer that question on what the upside of that is.
I mean, I feel like that's happening now. I mean, there's so many
Mhm.
cryptocurrencies. It's very simple to make your own cryptocurrency. Um, and I think we're seeing that now. A lot of people are investing in shit coins, but I feel like right now it's kind of like the gold rush where we're early enough where we're able to do that, but that's still a problem. You have these new people just dumping it into Shiba or into Dogecoin, for example, because it's trending and there's no utility. And I'm not saying like utility brings money because people like did make a lot of money like off of Shiba and Doge, but utility good teams, they are here to build for 10 years when Shiba's probably not going to be around in 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another reason, I keep going back to Meyer, but that's the reason I like Meyer so much is because they have a long vision. And that's why they had that bootstrapping stage at the beginning to really incentivize people coming in. And then you like lock your rewards and you're like, you have to stay with them year after year if you want to realize that reward, at least for a year. But that's the really cool thing about it. Like they have that value proposition, whereas a lot of other smaller kind of scattered cryptocurrencies don't have that value proposition.
They're building for the long term. They have the best wallet
Yeah,
I've seen. They have the best decks. They're dropping their NFT marketplace this month. They're dropping a credit card for the Meyer app this year. Like they're building to be the blockchain of the future. When we have, for example, like Solana, I feel like they really rushed their NFT marketplace to try to catch the hype. And I've heard from a lot of like other creators that it's very shit.
yeah. No, I completely agree with you. It's like I'm looking this up on the internet right now, but it said something on their DeFi for the next million. Like that's such a cool DeFi for the next billion. That's such a cool tagline. And it's just so easy to go in and the launch pad's dope and stuff like that. But NFTs, I saw that on your story today. You posted, what are those things called? Those NFTs that you posted today?
Oh,
What was that? You're
was
always
it the
posting.
high?
It was hard
Was it the
hard to
High
keep.
Wolf Society?
That's it. Yeah, you bought like
Yeah,
7 of them today, didn't you?
I bought 15 of them last night at like 2 in the morning. At like 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Was that a good or a bad decision looking back?
It was a good one. It
A
was a
good
good
one.
buy.
All right. Why is
Yeah,
it a good buy?
because they are bringing fashion into the NFT space, which I think like there have people like that have probably done, but they're doing it in a cool way. So you own this wolf, and like this is a very new collection. So like, I'm not that like that um I guess knowledgeable as I am on other ones, but you basically own this wolf. You get access to exclusive designer clothes drops. You also get a drop like another NFT that you can put on your wolf like a piece of clothing, like kind of like how the Board Ape Yacht Clubs had their like their serum that you could like mutate your like Board Ape Yacht Club with. It's kind of like that, but you can put the fashion or the like fashion like NFT on your actual wolf for it to wear it. Plus, they have like other airdrops that are coming out for like other collectors. And I actually have a friend named Corey Infinite. He has over 150,000 followers on TikTok, and they pulled three of his designs, and those designs from his art or his clothes that he hand makes are actually on the wolves. So like that's pretty cool.
Dude, that's cool. You know what I find also really cool is that people who are making stuff like Corey is, for example, can sell a version of that online and then maybe ship it in the mail, like ship a real tangible shirt in the mail to where somebody else can have. Because like that's something that brings people like me in. Like is that you have both the digital value and you have that real value as well. I don't know if you've ever heard of Mint Pass, but I bought Mint Pass a little
You were
while
telling me
ago.
about that.
Yeah, I was like the first one to buy it. I'm not even kidding. Like out of there's 500 exclusive ones, and I stood up like late at night. I was like, when's it gonna drop? When's it gonna drop?
That's
And
awesome.
I dropped some money on that, and it's really cool because it's like this new platform for supporting uh the athletes online as well, and also it provides like that value in the future too, like exclusive press releases, or like you get to go into nightclubs and get special drinks or something like it. This is all part of the,
Yeah.
the the platform. It's so cool that they're mixing all of this just by buying literally an NFT online, and you're getting all this value from it.
Yeah, the NFTs, I think they're going to be revolutionary. If that's in the like fitness industry, if you own a gym, if you own a restaurant, if you're a personal brand, if you own like any other business like that you own, you should be getting into NFTs because it not only allows you to make royalties for the life of that NFT, it allows you to go direct to the consumer and you can talk to that consumer one on one or like in a Discord group chat and just see like what they actually want, and they can like I'm in another project called Hog Homies by High Res the Rapper, and I own one of his Hog Homies original ones, and I make, I think it's 0.5% of the entire brand, whatever they make. If that's through personal events, if that's through like merchandise sales, like I make like 0.5% quarterly, as long as I hold the NFT.
And how are you paid out in that? Like what kind of currency are you getting?
I bought it on Ethereum, but they're paying me in the Elrond cryptocurrency.
Well, that's good. Elrond's a good place to get paid at.
Yes, it
That's
is.
really cool, man. Yeah, you're almost like buying, well, you are buying equity into that stuff.
Yeah.
And so did he offer that to everybody, or did you get in early and buy one of the early ones?
No, so I just bought it for 3 days ago, and I dropped 2,500 bucks on it. Um, there's only 75 of them of the OGs, and I think they minted for point 0.3, and I got it for like 1 Ethereum.
Okay. Dang, dude.
Yeah.
Man, you're big balling over here. I'm telling you guys, this is why I brought Easton on. We instantly got into to NFTs and
I mean,
crypto.
the NFT shit, dude, like is my life. I mean, I have had some big shit happen in the past 2 to 3 months, and it's just engulfed my entire fucking life.
So what's it like for you, personally being attached to that financially, especially as in depth as you are attached to that, like the volatility of that. Do you see that affecting your lifestyle at all?
I think not my lifestyle, but it definitely has me focus more on the profit taking strategy. Like, when am I taking profit? Am I selling? Is this a long term hold? If this is this a flip? But financially, I think as long as I'm taking profit, I will always be good.
Okay. I guess my question was like, do you ever like how you get like freaked out when it drops and you get freaked out, you like get super excited when it goes up and stuff like that? Like you were very invested in this stuff. I was just wondering if you have any kind of like, personal takeaway from that kind of stuff, if it gets to
Not
you emotionally.
Not really. The only time I ever get upset is if I miss something. If I
Okay.
don't buy into something, like I could have bought Gary V's NFTs for $2,000 and they peaked at 65K, and I
Dude.
ended up like not buying like any of them. So that's the only time when I don't take profit, and when I don't buy into something are the only two times when I get upset.
Yeah. And so you're implementing that strategy with the NFTs and the traditional crypto as well.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Because I don't know I can't speculate that well with the NFTs. I don't know what it is. I just something's hard for me to do that, but I can go and I can speculate pretty well with the traditional like Ethereum and Bitcoin. And like, are you into Bitcoin at all anymore,
I
or did you
actually
cash out?
I sold all my crypto, and I'm all in the Ethereum and the Elrond NFTs.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if you know about this, but about the tether problem with Bitcoin. Wasn't it super over leveraged? Like Tether was super over leveraged in their market. And then that was why Bitcoin shot up to 60. And now it's kind of a massive correction back down to 30. And this is like where it's going to stay for a long time. Did you hear
I
about
don't know
that?
much about it. I've heard that people are doing like arbitrage with Tether, but that's as far like as my knowledge goes. I know very little about that.
Gotcha. Because it's one of the biggest players, right? As
Yeah.
for market cap goes.
Yep.
Yeah, they're up there in like the trillions.
Yeah, they're huge.
That's wild, man. So where do you think this is all going? Where's it going to land in 10 years? Where are
I
you going to
think,
be in 10 years, Easton?
where am I gonna be? I'm hoping to be I mean, like this year alone, I want to reach $1 million through just
Yeah.
investing. In 10 years, I have I don't even know like where the hell I was gonna be in a year, let alone 10. So I honestly have no clue.
So would you buy a crypto mansion before you buy a real mansion?
Yes.
And you would go in there with the headset
Yes, I
and you
would.
would have your NFTs hanging on the wall.
Yes, I
That's
would.
dope. There you go, bro. I can see your future, dude. I can see you just sitting there with the headset on. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
There's actually one thing that I know that I'm doing is starting a skin collecting and renting business in the metaverse.
Okay. Explain that.
So this is a very, very far plan out, but I want to buy up skins from IPs. And like this will only work if these big companies will sell their skins separately as NFTs and give up complete ownership besides the royalty aspect. But what I want to do is buy up these famous characters like Master Chief or Rick from Rick and Morty, or SpongeBob, buy them and like own them myself, keep them in this like sick like warehouse showcase. And if you want to, let's say, rent out a Master Chief skin for a commercial, you would have to come to me because I own one like out of the 5 ever created, and then you can rent it for me, let's say for like $1,000 a day.
$1,000 a day?
Yeah,
You think somebody would pay for that? Somebody would. Somebody would.
yeah, they would.
I'm not going against it. I'm just saying, it wouldn't be
Yeah,
me, but it would be somebody. You have a market, dude. We were talking about, we were talking about in our last conversation that we had over the phone. It was like an hour long. We're talking about how, well, when you go into the metaverse and you're buying land and stuff like that, I can see something cool in the future where people put on the headset and then they go into the metaverse and they go into the plots of land where people have shops set up and they have like digital representations of their product. And then they can go in there and say, hey, I'm shopping through this product. I like this shirt. I'm going to try it on, see what it looks like on my avatar. And then they buy it. And then, 2 days later, it's shipped to their house or something like that.
that's
I
already
don't,
happening.
yeah, I think, that's going to take over the online space when it
Yes,
comes
it
to
is.
buying digitally, because then people will be able, the biggest thing now is, will it fit me? Right. Will it look good? And now me and you are sitting in a fireside chat on Zoom. It's coming, man. It's coming. It's pretty cool.
It is, and I know Subway's doing it, and I know
Subway.
Domino's. Yes, Subway and Domino's. You can go in there in Decentraland and order your sub or like order your pizza, just like you would order it from like your app on your phone, and then it would be shipped to your house. And I saw someone being paid like $2 an hour to like be like an employee for Subway working the counter in the metaverse.
Wow. Okay. All right. Forgive me, Easton. I'm gonna be devil's advocate for a second. All right. So what's going to happen with the disconnect? Like when people get so invested into the online realm that they forget about the real realm.
I think that's happening already.
But like let's take it to its apex. Let's take it like 10 years out where you have people literally living their entire life online, which is that's a personal choice. But then you have people living in the real world. I just wonder how that's going to pan out.
I think we'll have people make a choice and then they'll either be known as their avatar inside the metaverse and still be able to call and I guess like communicate with people like on the like outside world. But they just prefer to rather live in the metaverse. Like they're known inside the metaverse like as their avatar, as their username. They have a house in there. They have like their entire worth is inside the metaverse, and then we're gonna have people that want to live outside the metaverse, maybe in the like augmented reality version where it's just glasses and not the headset.
Hmm. I think one way or the other, it's gonna push towards that. The majority of society is going to be augmented in a way, and then you're going to have people who live their full life on the metaverse. But I see somehow you haven't the disconnect I was talking about, where you have people literally living this online life that they can't live in the real life, and then they come back to the real life and think they can do things that they were doing in the online life, and it's like, you can't do that, man. You don't get a restart, right? You don't get a second life or something like that. You don't have a health bar, right? It's you screw up once and your shoulder breaks, or you screw up once and your foot breaks, stuff like that. I just think you're going to have young kids especially come in and spend too much time in this thing, and then go back to the real life and have some serious issues.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I think we will have a big disconnect, but I think that's gonna happen like either way. I mean, I think we're always
Yeah.
looking at different ways to leave the real world, to escape our pain, to escape our suffering. If that's, I mean, like people already do that like with drugs. So like this is just, I guess, like a material way to do it by not taking drugs, by not tricking your brain. Now you're actually going in and like changing your state or your reality, like um like physically and not like mentally anymore.
Hmm. That's a deep thought right there, man. That should go on deep dives. That should go on deep dives. Yeah, that's a good point, man. Because I just wonder if people are going to treat it as an escape from pain, or just a way to, like, I think there's some things that people shouldn't experience, right? Like some people like are just not meant to see some things. And having complete unlimited access to the online realm is going to give unlimited access to those feelings and to those things that in the real world there would be barriers and boundaries to that kind of thing. And I think the way you find true happiness is by having that series of obstacles and that like series of things that stop you from going forward and you have to push through it, or just limits. You know what I mean? Like there's a limit to the things you can do in the real world, and on the online realm, it's going to be completely taken away. And down the future, I see some people just completely losing their sense of identity, and it's going to actually further that problem that we're seeing today. And it's going to drive people to the further use of drugs. So like in the future, I can see that potentially happening for a select version of society that may even bifurcate from society as we know it today. And then you have like, you have this online America, and then you have this in-person America, and then, crazy shit's going to happen at that point.
I think we're headed to, I mean, I have, I think a different take. I think we'll always be doing this though. I mean, I
Yeah.
think we were doing it 100 years ago. We were doing it 20 years ago. I mean, we're always going to be finding that next, I guess, high or that next way to stop it. And unless you take accountability of your own life and say, listen, like, I need to stop watching porn. Like, I need to stop doing drugs. Like, I need to stop doing these things and really get my life on track. And it's okay to feel these emotions or feel these pain and go through these hard times. Unless like each like individual is able to do that for themselves, it'll just keep happening like over and over again.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. It comes down to the personal choice to better yourself and to put yourself back on the right track at the end of the day. 100%. But there's a hard but in that. But you're going to have more people that are going to be taking away that ability to make that choice, in my opinion. Because we see today people go online and they kind of get literally brainwashed by seeing ads all the time. They see certain imagery all the time, and that rewires your brain. And so biologically, I see there being some kind of issue there. But like you said, we're always looking to go forward as humanity. We're always looking to advance. This is inevitable. 100%. This is inevitable. It's just like, what are we going to do to kind of mitigate the potential damages in the future?
I don't think the masses want to.
Yeah.
I mean, why I saw this video that this monkey, he was given a orgasm button where he could just click it over
He
and
probably
over
kept
again,
clicking and clicking
and
and
he just
clicking.
kept clicking and clicking and clicking until they had to take it away from him. And
Yeah.
I think when it comes to our primal state, all we want is shelter, food, and to be comfortable, and like sex. And like, why as humans, I mean, this is what we've been striving for our entire life. I mean, like not life, but entire like, I guess,
Existence as
species.
humanity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Like this is our goal, is to get to a point where we don't have to do anything anymore.
Huh. It's to completely alleviate all the hardships of life, the
Yeah.
necessities that we have to keep, filling or something like that. But yeah, that's the primal urge, man, to eat and have sex and reproduce, right? That's the primal urge. Yeah. And I guess that's driven us towards NFTs.
That's the start of it.
There we go.
That's the start of it.
There's a good start. All right. So, NFTs brought us to the primal state of human beings wanting to have sex and eat food. All right, cool. Yeah,
That's
we
our
got that.
conversation.
That's our conversation. Yeah, guys, I hope you're liking this. I hope you're liking this. Anyways, bro, how you been? What's other than the NFTs? What you been up to? How's life been and all that?
Life's been good. I mean, it's been just NFTs. I just got a consulting job for Web3. I
With
just got
who?
hired. We were gonna, so me and my business partner, we opened up a consulting firm. We started it. We picked up a multi-millionaire client. We decided to shut it down, and then that same client just hired us on to work under him. So we're gonna be making a salary and then like commissions for that. So like that's been exciting, and I also like got invited to speak on a panel in May in San Diego to talk about Web3 and like NFTs. So it's been my entire fucking life.
Cool. So for the audience, go ahead and give us a breakdown on Web3.
So Web3 is basically the community owned and driven iteration of the internet. So Web 1 was where we could just watch information be presented to us. Web 2 was where we had companies like Facebook, like Instagram, we were their product and they made money from us. Web 3 is now the community gets to own their own digital assets, and it is owned by a collective instead of one giant person.
So it's kind of like the collective coming back and taking control back over the
Yes.
internet and over the uh, inherent kind of IP um, associations of the internet. Like we get to own what we put out, or we get to
Yep.
own what we put out there on the internet. That makes sense. Okay. And so like you're going up to talk about Web3 specifically for this consulting position that you are in, or are you speaking on behalf of this guy or your company? Like what are you going up there to talk about?
So I'm going up there to talk about on my behalf, but he is paying me to go up there as well, to pay for my entire trip. So like we are going up there for my own personal brand, but like obviously if I can pick up some clients for him, then that would be like even better. But I'm going up there to speak about decentralized finance and play to earn gaming.
Okay. Play to earn gaming is pretty cool. That speaks a lot of people's language.
Yeah, it's
Honestly,
crazy.
that dude, that's so cool, man. If you could literally just play video games and earn money.
Yeah.
And you are earning like a lot of the stuff that I've been seeing when you are playing a game. I don't know if I'm right or not, but when you're playing a game on the iPhone, for example, and it's a play to earn game, you're earning the currency of that specific game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you can only use that value within the game.
It's so right now it's very, very new. It all depends how the applications want to do it. I've seen some where you can cash out through PayPal, which that's not really cryptocurrency in my eyes if you're using PayPal to like cash out and make money. But they're doing it that way for now because they're so early. But a true play to earn game is where it's being built in the blockchain. So let's say you were to make a game on Ethereum, you would be earning a coin that is for that native game, but it's still built on Ethereum. So you would have to swap to Ethereum to cash out.
Gotcha. So you would kind of like you would cash out to fiat currency with PayPal. You would just switch over that earning that you made in the game to Ethereum, which would at
Yep.
that point kind of be the widespread currency that everybody can utilize in the market. So I guess at the end of the day, it just comes down to having the use cases developed out and having Ethereum being able to buy necessities for food, living, and yeah, our previous discussion. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Huh, that's pretty cool.
That's exciting.
Dude, it's extremely exciting. Yeah. I got an Ethereum super early, man, and it's been such a cool thing to just watch and watch it grow and stuff. And to see it develop over time. Like everybody at the beginning was like, it's just this fad. And every single day it gains more and more momentum, gains more value. People can use it for more things. I'm over here farming cool ass currency, right? I think it's dope. Click that button and gain my profit every single day. You know what I mean? And I think people are going to catch on to this idea, and it's going to incentivize businesses to come over and provide services that you can use the money for, right? And I think at the end of the day, it just comes over to the mainstream kind of service side of the economy coming in and providing that use case.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all based on. I mean, we will see, and we're already seeing companies come over like McDonald's. We're seeing all the just a bunch of big companies slowly starting to move over to this space. But yeah, I mean, it's just going to be just like the internet now, how you have your ways of doing business. We probably won't even call like NFTs. We might not even call crypto like cryptocurrency in 10 years. It's just going to be like the way that we do things, and just we're going to interact like we interact now. We buy things that bring us value, and we use them, and then we sell them.
Yeah, it's just going to be currency. It's
Yep.
just going to be the medium of exchange, right? And I can see this shift happening. I watched the 3 hour press release on. It was not the press release; it was the Congress hearing, whatever, on cryptocurrency. And they had all these big giants come in, like the Coinbase
Yeah.
president and the CEOs of all these big companies. And it was pretty cool to see that at least a lot of the congressmen and women, they were able to at least encourage this kind of thing, encourage some kind of regulation, this widespread regulation, because that's what's holding America back from the other countries who have already implemented it. Because we have this haphazard, freaking regulation system. We don't know what we're going to get taxed. We're going to have to get taxed on. It's life, right? What's two things: death and taxes. That's what we get in life, right? But you get more than that, but. But yeah, dude, it's like if they could figure out a good regulation system for it, I think it'll do wonders for bringing this market to life. It's already here. It's waking up. There's nothing they can do about it. It's out of their control. So the best thing they can do is incentivize it. But the biggest argument, and I thought you would like to comment on this as well, was that it is a threat to the U.S. dollar as the stable currency, as the exchange currency of the world. And my thing is that I think it'll support it because everybody wants to use the dollar. Everybody wants to use the USD. And if you can digitalize that and make it so that anybody in the entire world with a click of a button is able to use the USD, I think that's going to increase the value of the dollar as that exchange currency.
I think it could, but I think it also leaves room for a newer and better currency to come in. I think just from the US dollar point, we're losing a lot of control. And I
Yeah.
think, I mean, like, as you know, I
Yeah.
don't know the like percentage like anymore of like how much has been printed, but it has been
Six point
a
eight percent
shit
inflation or
ton,
something like that. Yeah,
a
it's wow.
shit ton. So I think we're losing control. And I think if we do release a currency as the USD cryptocurrency, I think it'll be very dangerous to the citizens though, because um it'll take away, I guess, all like hidden things because now everything is on the blockchain. So now the government can watch everything that you do. They can pause your crypto wallet. They can do this is where the decentralized meets centralized, and the government doesn't want decentralization.
Hmm. So would that problem? I'm not obviously. I'm just being devil's advocate
Yeah,
here. Would
yeah.
that problem not exist with the other cryptocurrencies as well?
It wouldn't. I mean, they can pause it, but you can also give uh so okay, let me backtrack. So it all depends how the cryptocurrency is created.
Okay.
So if it's created through mining, then it all depends on where and who owns those mining rigs because mining creates a cryptocurrency. So if 50% of those mining rigs are in the US, then yes, it is still centralized because obviously if the US wants to ban mining, then there goes 50% of the mining rigs and they have to leave. But if you do a different way to create those cryptocurrencies and like Elrond has a thing called secure proof of stake where there are validators and they put up their cryptocurrency and that validates transactions on the blockchain. And Elrond does something specific where they pick different validators like over a certain amount of time, so it's never centralized.
Yeah. No. And the reason I did this was because I had this flash. I'm like, Elon, just freaking throw up a whole bunch of satellites with computers on them into space. You know what I mean? Because Elon's the man. But obviously
Yeah,
that would be centralized as shit.
yeah.
But I'd rather it be in his hand than anybody else. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Elon. But anyways,
I
um,
like Elon.
yeah, I do too. But when people like, for example, can you explain the proof of stake real quick to the audience?
Yes, yes. So I guess I'll explain like both. So proof of work is when a big computer solves a very like
Big math
intricate,
problem.
yes, a big giant math problem, and that you get rewarded in Bitcoin for solving that math problem. And that takes up energy. That that obviously like takes up space for the miners. And then you have proof of stake where these staking providers and these validators put up their cryptocurrency. They, I guess, go to work and they validate transactions on the blockchain, which keeps the blockchain afloat and they're paid rewards. So it is a lot better for the environment.
Yeah, exactly. And in that case, it's so much more decentralized,
It can be
right?
if
Because don't you have like individual people provide for example, me providing my liquidity? Would that be an example of proof of stake, or am I wrong in that?
no, so you're playing in the liquidity pools.
Okay.
So you are providing liquidity for the decentralized exchange, but it can be decentralized. Proof of stake, like Solana, for example, is not centralized because they keep the same validators. So like who owns that cryptocurrency and that who is the staking provider or the validator. And it's always that same person no matter what. It never switches. If they don't like change anything, then it's always that same validator. So it's actually more centralized than proof of work if it's like that. And then like Elrond switches the validators periodically. So like you don't know who's going to be picked next.
And that can be anybody.
You have to be I think you have to have a certain amount of like Elrond. I think it might be 1,000, like to like be like open to do this. And you can either pick to put your money up to be like a validator, which I think you make, I don't know, like I think like maybe 20+% on your money, and then you just put your coins up.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, because I was thinking like if you were to, for me, putting up that, it's not small, but it's, it's definitely smaller than these big guys.
Yeah.
But, putting up that, just kind of reducing that concept down to the small players and having small players providing this proof of stake, so to speak. So if you were to really like break it down and layer it out, I think that's the ultimate decentralized example of this, because, those people who have like 1,000 Elrond, for example, are able to provide that validation because of the amount that they have. Right. But if you were to just like say, hey, instead of choosing this one person and randomly choosing it, we're just going to randomly choose lots like of dozens of people at a time and then switch this around. Right. And then you 12 get it for a little bit. Your collective amount of money that you put up is around 1,000 this, right? 1,000 Elrond. And then we switch it to another group. And that way you have a lot more decentralization.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if that's feasible. That's just kind of me thinking.
I have to double check if when you put, so like you can stake your money in, like I have to double check, like, because I know that also helps validate transactions like on the blockchain. I just need to do more research into like what specifically happens when you stake your money. I'm not that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like in the case of Myar, for example, like when I went in and I put in my, you have to first go in and wrap your token, right? And then you have to pair it with another token. And then you can add it to this liquidity pool. And then you earn this reward over a time span of a year. And that is locked. That reward's locked. So you can almost like stake that reward, or, if Myra were able to work out something where they were able to use that as a validation, that reward, right, while it's locked, I think that would be another way to provide proof of stake. But obviously I'm not that deep with it, but
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just cool. There's so many integrations, so many ways you could develop this thing. That goes way beyond the traditional way of doing business and way of doing, monetary fiscal policy.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's more than cool. It's what's the new way, dude?
I fucking love it, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm always going to like having that green cash in my hand though. It's always nice to have cash. I don't know. Something about it. So if Myar ends up coming out with little digital dollars that I can print out, just have not be worth shit, but I can still rub it around, that would be cool. Yeah. You about ready? Yeah. You about ready to wrap this up, bro? It looks like you're ready to wrap this up.
No, I'm
okay. I was about to say, let's keep let's keep going. Let's keep going for 20 minutes. Let's keep pushing. I know
we're
both tired.
About like whatever.
Hey, sorry.
About whatever, man.
Audience, we are tired, right? We both been working all day. We're like, yo, let's do this. But yeah, let's talk about anything, bro. All right. The state of affairs. What do you think's going on over there in old Russia and Ukraine?
I don't know much about this. It's tough for me to comment on things like this because I don't like to say a lot, because I think it's just a part of something, I guess, bigger, or like more control than what's actually happening. I think there is a lot. I'm not saying that like this stuff isn't like happening over there, like isn't real, but I think it is a part of something.
Like, do you think we should be over there or not?
No.
Me either.
I think we need to stop sticking our hands in other people's business and just like, yeah.
I'm gonna get real controversial here. Sorry, this is who I am.
No, I love it.
But it's not us, bro. It's like, it's the high ups, right? It's the money. That's what controls everything in the modern day society. It's just money. And I think so many people get caught up in this game of being pawns for these people. And I'm a patriot. But I think people weaponize nationality in a way. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to go fight and die for your country for this real cause that we fabricated. But at the end of the day, I have absolutely no difference between me and that person over there across the world. They want the same thing I want, right? And I think if more people start thinking like this, if they just have this mindset of, I'm not this like one world, I'm not that kind of person, but I'm like the person who likes to think that, there's not much difference between me and a person in Ukraine or Russia. It's
Yeah.
just the average person. There is a difference in the administration of Russia and United States, and that's where the contention comes in. And then they weaponize nationality, and I don't think it should be that way.
No, I mean, I think a lot of us get caught up in the idea of our beliefs and we don't question anything. We're like, okay, like I'm a liberal, like I'm a conservative, and like they don't actually believe it. They just believed it because their mom's grandma like told them to like do that. And I think a lot of us get caught up, and then when like these people like they start to question things, they're like, what's actually going on? And I think a lot of people don't, because their entire life will crumble.
Yeah, no, totally, dude. And I wish more people like not wish, but more people just need to do their own research, and I think get away from what's all going on in the mainstream media.
Oh, for
I,
sure.
you know what I mean? And if you just take literally, if you just go out and you take a little hiatus off of social media, it does so much good for you. Like you get this freedom of mind,
Yeah.
you get this clarity, right? Like the whole time I was making my podcast, I was just, only time I would come in, if you noticed, I wasn't putting any reels out or anything like
Yeah.
that, just because, I'd rather just be separated from it while I'm doing a project and while I'm really focusing on something, because it's so much distraction that's unnecessary, in my opinion. There's great things that can be facilitated online, 100%, right? And like this, like what me and you
Yeah.
are doing, putting this out there. But I think more people need to focus on creating and not consuming, in my opinion.
I feel like a lot of people, they don't want to stick up for what they believe in. They have
Yeah.
their beliefs. And I think I actually made a video of this about Ukraine. And like, this is very, very like controversial, but I think we really, especially uh, Americans, we really don't give a fuck what's going on over there. Like, we really don't care about the people that are being killed, and about the Russians, and about the Ukrainian people. Like, we really don't care. We're like being forced to feel bad by social media, by other people, and we're being forced to apologize or put up things on our story saying like that we feel bad, when we really don't give a fuck, but we are afraid to voice that opinion because like we'll be shunned from society.
Yeah, but and on the reverse side of that coin, like I think there is a little bit of sentiment for the hardship that those people are going through, and that's just collective empathy. And this is
Yeah.
something that over time we're gonna develop as a society. Empathy is the solution, in my opinion. Like feeling for other people's pain and stuff like that at the hands of very powerful people and militaries and stuff like that are just steamrolling through this shit for absolutely, well, I say no reason, but there's some reasons behind the scenes there. But these people are caught in the fire, the wildfire of it, and it's sad, dude. Like you see these people's houses getting burned down and stuff like that. And then you got over, this happens all over the world. You got this over in Palestine and in Jerusalem, fucking Israel, right? I mean, they're bombing the shit out of each other, right? It's like an open air prison over there in Palestine. And for so long, bro, like the mainstream media has made us think that Israel is the right choice, like that we should support Israel. And we don't actually get over there and see what's happening to the Palestinians. The majority of people, they just go with the mainstream opinion that yeah, Israel's our ally. Well, why are they out? Why are they our ally, right? And nobody can fucking say why. And that's how much people have become brainwashed by this whole thing, in my opinion. And like for example, I was watching this episode. This Joe Rogan had this person on, and Israel was sending missiles over into Palestine, and just like they would give like a 10-minute warning. They say they're like this honorable army, right? They would give this 10-minute warning for people to clear out of the area before the bombs hit. But it was at 12 o'clock at night. Like these people are asleep. You know
What
what I
the
mean?
fuck?
They're asleep. It's like, oh, but we gave them a warning. We gave them a warning. All right. No, you didn't. And this person like lost like his home, his family's bookstore that had been going on for like generations and generations and generations and stuff like that. And, I think the root cause of all this stuff is money, greed, and vanity.
I agree. And it's very difficult, I think, to like, because I think as humans, we don't want to bring awareness to this stuff. We don't want to think that this is going on. I mean, even like when you break it down like to the simple things that we're buying, like our iPhones, our like computers, like who's actually making this, like who's actually like mining like the materials for this stuff, and it's probably all overseas where like they're getting paid like next to nothing. And I think as humans, no matter what it is, we just don't like to be aware of that stuff because it, just like you said, it forces us to be like empathetic. And
Yeah.
when you're not empathetic, it's very hard to turn that cheek and be like, oh, like I actually feel bad for these people.
And it's easy to turn the cheek.
Yes.
It's easy to just look away. And yeah, it's hard to kind of feel that because you don't want to be brought down by it, I guess. It's selfishness, but it's like also not selfishness. Like, because it's not at the end of the day your problem really, but you feel like it should be your problem, or else you wouldn't really be thinking that maybe I should have done something about it or felt this way about it. But there's this concept that I was studying when I was doing my research for the deep dives and stuff, and it's called collective amnesia. And what you just brought up kind of hints at that we're trying to suppress this feeling that we should provide empathy to other people because of collective pain that we've experienced in the past. And that's what like an amnesiac does. When they have a painful event or a trauma or PTSD or something like that, the way they get rid of this pain is by suppressing it and pushing it away instead of realizing it. But at the end of the day, when you go into therapy and stuff like that, you have to recollect on these things and you have to force yourself to admit that this actually happened. And that's how people reconcile with it. And I don't know if that's the solution for stuff that's going on overseas, but it might be a stepping stone.
It's very hard, I think, because I think as just as people, it's very hard because like what do you put your focus on? Like do you be like one of those people that are going over there, that are helping them, that are like in there, like giving them water, like bringing them food, and then you start to suffer? Or do you come over back to America, work on your goals, do what you actually want to do, and then you succeed? And it's a very hard line because like I think you see people that are striving for both. Like you see the monasteries that are like over there helping, and you have like the multimillionaires that are succeeding their goals over here. And I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think it's just, it sounds kind of douchey, but I think there will be bad and good things that happen like every day. And I think just if we accept that these things are happening, I think even just that will help. Of like, okay, like I'm aware that there are bad things happening and I feel like really bad for this person, but I have my stuff that I have to do. And I think even just realizing that it's happening like is a stepping stone, because I think like we can't fix everything.
Yeah. And yeah, what you just said completely reinforces what I was just bringing up with the collective amnesia too. But yeah. And I think there is a point, like you have to take that, you have to say I can't do anything about it. Right. And so there's no point in me kind of diminishing my state right now because of that. And when it gets to a scale where it's so uncontrollable, though, that's where you have to step in and say something about it, because then it's going to end up tipping over, and the water is going to go over the sides of the bucket. It's going to flood everywhere and shit. Right, your floors are going to get wet. But yeah, so I think there is a point by which you have to come in and say something about it. But getting to that point, or you have to figure out like where you should intervene and where you should not intervene. But yeah, it's a crazy subject, man. This got me thinking about it.
Just life is difficult in general. Like
Life's
life is a
difficult.
very, very weird thing we're doing right now.
What is life? What is the answer to life, Easton Gladney?
I don't
Tell
know,
me,
dude.
brother.
I couldn't tell you about
Mm.
like anything. We don't know anything. Like
Yeah, we don't.
we just think we know stuff, and I'm like, I don't know anything. Like you couldn't be a human. I mean, like you could be something else, and I'm like, we just have no fucking clue.
What if I'm an MFT?
I don't know. You could be. I mean, like
Yeah,
I could be like NFT too. I'm like,
we
we could
kind of
be
are
anything.
right now, dude. We're in a simulation right now.
We are.
We are literally in a simulation, acting like we're not in a simulation. That's pretty cool. But yeah, like life is tricky, man. It's something that I don't think anybody's ever going to solve. I don't know if there is an answer. That's the thing. Like with the whole question, what is life, is kind of like a dialectic in itself. It's like, what is life? Well, is there even an answer to this question? Probably not.
I don't think there is either. I think it's just we just have to kind of formulate our own answer to get us to, I guess, keep moving forward, because it's very easy to say, you know what, life sucks, all this bad shit's happening. Why even do anything? And like that's not even like that's a very like valid thing to do. Like why even continue life? Like why not just sleep in all the day, like eat fat, like like eat fast food and like do nothing. And like I don't think that's a wrong answer to life. And like there really is no right or wrong way because each is valid.
Hmm. I wonder what the motivating factor behind staying fit, staying healthy, and like being on the right track actually is. I wonder if there's some kind of essence in there that is the meaning of life or something like that. You know what I mean?
Do
It's
you
like a
think
driving factor.
do you think we're born with that? Or like do you think it's a gene? Like why are some people like super successful and they push through traumatizing events and some people crumble?
It's a mix of both. It's definitely a mix of both. Um, you know, you can be born in the worst situation on the planet and figure your way out of it. You could also be born in the highest place out of the entire world and figure out how to find your way to the gutter. So the whole nature nurture thing is not so black and white in my opinion. And I think you need to have a little bit of nature and a little bit of nurture but at the end of the day, nurture is dope. Because that means you can go and you can make something out of yourself. You're not refined to what your gene code is. There are certain things that will hold you back from doing certain things. Like, for example, my shoulder's broken right now. That's literally like out of place. It's all messed up and screwed up and shit. So I can't box anymore. But then I take my energy that I would have put into that and I put it into something else. I put it into writing, podcasting, working, making money and stuff like this and providing value to people. And so there's always a way to shift your efforts and figure out a way to make something out of yourself. But I think that answers your question a little bit.
Yeah, and I think the unlock is awareness. I think
Yeah.
that is the difference between those people that are very successful and aren't, is awareness. Like once you get like that awareness and like like you start like watching like the thoughts that you're having and the feelings that you're having from a third person point of view, and you realize like, okay, like I'm not these things and like I can change them. I feel like that's when it's kind of on you. I think when you're stuck in the program state, whatever that might look like, good or bad, if you don't have awareness, you're just kind of like following. But when you step out of that and you're in like a third person, I feel like then it's kind of on you. And I don't know how to build self-awareness. I mean, like I know how to build it, but I don't know like how to present it to someone because like I'm very self-aware at like 22, and then there's people who are 60 who have never gotten self-aware, and I'm like, what's the difference? And like I just don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. I think it's a mix of what you're exposed to and what you choose to expose yourself to. I don't know if somebody's because somebody had to come to the idea first, right? Of being self-aware.
Yeah.
And so at that point, it then becomes like this tumbleweed effect where more people are encouraged to become self-aware. But I don't know if it's a thing you're born with and that you grow into. It's a series of steps that you have to take in order to get to that point, and it just requires taking action, right? It requires stepping out of your first person and going into the third person is action. You got to take that action to do that, and that is a cognizant decision that you have to make. So in that aspect, I think it's more nurture to get to that point than nature, because I don't really see any severe hindrance in order to become that.
Yeah, it's a very tricky thing. It's it's very like interesting to look at because I like to look at this stuff. I mean, even like people like I know close to me, I like present the ideas to them and I like show it to them, but they just turn away from it. And I'm like presenting these ideas and you don't want to accept it. And I just think it's very interesting to look at these type of things because I think this is what determines if you live, I guess, like a joyful life versus like a miserable, depressed life. It's just like that little shift.
Yeah. So why? Okay, explain what self-awareness is to the layman.
I think it's just being able to watch your feelings and thoughts as if you were an attendant um, at a sporting event. Like you're like watching it go on from a far third person point of view, and then you're detaching yourself from those experiences.
Mhm. I think it's absolutely wild that humans are able to watch their thoughts. They're able to think about their thoughts. Like that's crazy. That's crazy that I can say, "Hey, I was just thinking about grabbing this brownie." I'm feeling hungry.
It's insane. And you just look at it and you're like, why? Like, what is actually going on here? And it's just like, I just don't know. I mean, like, you just keep going down this weird path of life, especially when you get self-aware. Like, it just keeps going. I mean, like, if you use psychedelics, if you do like organically, you just continue to go down this very interesting path, and it never leads anywhere. It just keeps going.
I think that there is an expansion of consciousness, definitely. And I think becoming self-aware is the initial stages of that expansion.
Yeah,
And
for
then there's
sure.
also stages outside of that as well. So you may be able to think about thinking about your thoughts one day. You know what I mean? Like you're thinking about the brownie. Now that would be double self-awareness right there. But yeah, I mean, you know, the brain is a crazy thing, man. And the way people like to conceptualize it is that we only use 30% of our brain or something. Yeah, we only do use, because if we did use 100% of our brain, we'd blow up. We'd literally
We'll go
blow
crazy.
up. But there is ways to enhance the already utilized parts of our brain and formulate new pathways within the brain that would allow new trains of thought. You know, it's like a spider web. It's like a literally a train of different highways and metros and stuff like that that all have different navigations. And if you are able to develop that in a certain way, you can literally expand your mind, and that you can do that every single day by practicing, drilling new information into your mind, like reading something new every single day or something like that. That's the surface level stuff of it. But I think there has to be some kind of trigger outside of that that allows you to expand. And maybe it's psychedelics. I haven't done it,
Me
but
neither.
you know, I wouldn't be opposed to it. You know, in the future, definitely. In expanding that, right? Because yeah, I just don't know if you want to expand it. Maybe you don't want to expand it. Maybe there's some things that you don't want to experience and think about. I don't know.
I've heard some rough people go through it and lose their whole purpose in life. And I've had my best friend took psychedelics and it changed his entire life forever.
In
And
a good
like,
way.
you know, like he like now he like wants to become financially free. He like wants to be, like the best version like of himself. And it's like it's very interesting how it kind of like I've never like taken it either, but I have like a couple of friends who have, and it's been very good for them.
I wonder what kind of leads up to that decision being made. If like when you take psychedelics, like whether you go south or you go north. I wonder if at that point, if it's the nature nurture kind of discussion that we could have at that point as well.
I'm not sure. I if I have to imagine, it's probably the inner work that you've done and your surroundings. I've heard if you don't have like a psychedelic buddy to do it with, and you're doing it alone, or you're doing it with a really like not a like group of people like that you're not fond of, it things can go very bad very quickly.
Hmm.
Especially like when you talk about acid and you talk about all these other things. If you're not with the right people like, in the right environment, things can go south really crazy. And I think that's when your entire grasp of reality breaks.
Yeah, one of my buddies. I'm not going to mention him, but one of my you'll know who you are when you listen to this. But yeah, one of my buddies, he brought up the idea that like he hates it. He hates it. He didn't get a bad experience from it, but he just felt like his ego broke down and that he just felt like everything else was on the same level as him. And you know, like that he saw this ant, and this ant was like the same kind of biological worth as him. And he said he didn't like that. I think that would be a cool experience. Be like, yo, what's up, dude? What's up, ant? I'm not gonna step on you right now. Like
I've
Mike
heard
Tyson.
similar things.
Mike Tyson, classic example, right? Guy goes from being this absolute killer in the ring who would bite people's ears off and go to jail and stuff like that. He did DMT 50 times. And now the guy won't hurt a fly. Like he says, he got into this real deep discussion about killing flies and killing bugs. He's like, I won't kill the bug, man. No, I won't kill the. He was literally like defensive that he would not kill the bug. It was really cool to see that. And he's like, yeah, you just feel this kind of sense of belonging with the world once you take it.
Yeah, I've heard similar things where you feel very connected to everything.
Hmm. I wonder if that's like different per psychedelic, but we're not endorsing psychedelics, guys. Sorry, but it's a very interesting car. Have you ever heard of the stoned ape theory?
Yes, I have.
What do you think about that?
I don't see it not being true. I mean, look how look how we both became self-aware. Why couldn't that how we started before? Like if we're able to go from not being self-aware to being self-aware, what else are we able to do?
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
I just don't there are just so many, I guess, like theories out there. And just like how we're able to subdue like other like information or just forget like information like altogether like as a society, I think it's a very high possibility that there are things that have happened in the past that passed down through society or that we just didn't want to bring with us into in like into the like building the new world that we just kind of got rid of. We're like, and yeah, like we don't want to bring like that up. Like we'll just kind of like toss that to the side and like tell this new story. I
Yeah,
mean, like that's like what we are. Like we're just like we're a accumulation of past beliefs and stories that we tell ourselves.
that's a great way to put it.
Thank you.
All right. I think that that is an excellent way to end this podcast as well. We've gone on three different tangents. We started with crypto, and then we went into Ukraine for some reason. It's the first thing that came to my mind, and then we went into self awareness and expanding the consciousness. So that was a really cool episode, man. I guess we can just wrap it up. You got any final thoughts you want to put out there into the world?
I think my one thing to people is that know that your life can always change, and I promise that there's hope that whatever situation that you're in, that your life has the ability to get better, even if that's changing your perspective on your situation.
Beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. And me and Easton will definitely be running this back again in the future. But thank you, brother, for coming in. I really do appreciate it. It was a lot of fun, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Thank you so much for like having me, man. I always love these talks.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon.
Awesome.
Peace.